I think what we can learn from Malayalam cinema is the writing, is the ability to tell incredible stories in tiny budgets. To imagine that Loka was made in 30 crores is for Hindi cinema unimaginable. That the fact that, and Dulquer was doing this years ago. We all want to learn Malayalam so that we can come and work here. Post-pandemic, Indian cinema is in a peak hyper-masculine era. Okay, well, listen, most of Malayalam cinema is adipoli. Hi, I'm Anupama Chopra and I'm at KLF's Apostrophes.
Thank you. So ma'am, since you're come for Kerala again for a literature festival, like you come here back and forth for all interviews, you meet all our stars regularly. Whenever we have a big release, you are there. So now when we are here at the KLF, let's start about dining with stars. For the launch, I heard you were inviting Karan sir and you were telling I was not so kind to Karan ever.
Still, he said that, not me. I'm always kind.
But we understand, like during FC or many of such platforms, running with such platforms, you can never have a shield like saying film reviews or general opinion about a film. That won't get your audience ever. So from the interviews to the book, how overwhelming it is about the readers, the reviews that you get from the book, and I would like to know the film fraternity's response on the book.
So, first of all, I have to say that I'm really excited that Bloomsbury Publishing decided to publish Dining with Stars. It's basically a compilation of the best interviews that my colleague Sneha Menon Desai, who's actually Malayali, and I did at Film Companion. And so it's a series of interviews from between 2014 to 2024. And I think the response has been wonderful because look, books are a very, it's a difficult passion, right? Because your sales, your numbers are not vast unless you're a best-selling fiction author. I don't write fiction. I'm only writing about cinema. So you do it because I think books give longevity. So of course these interviews are available on YouTube, but when you see them between the same covers, and you see artists from across across India and against each other, and you get a sense of how people think and how artists think. I think that's what gives it value, and the response has been lovely because I was earlier at the Jaipur Literature Festival. We had the book launch in Mumbai with Karan Johar, as you said, and it was just such a sense of I think affection, because there was so much love for Film Companion. I think there was just so much love for that platform that love is now extending to the book.
Yes, what you said is exactly correct, because have you ever thought like from Bollywood or Hindi film or the film fraternity, have you ever imagined 10 years before a Malayali audience, a pure South Indian state audience looking at, wow, Anupama Chopra is here, then we are here to attend the session. Last year it was there in the car festival. I hope you were surprised to see that.
Yes.
So when did you decide to do the FC with other main regional languages film stars also? Because you could have easily gone with the flow, like you have a very good flow at the Bollywood or maybe the Hindi. But what made you think that, no, it's time to represent the other part of the world also?
So, that was the thought from the beginning, because I felt that we need to expand, right? So I'm very proud of the fact that we wanted and we were pan-India before Bahubali. And that's why I went to Bharadwaj Rangan and said that please come and work with me, because I don't know enough about the South industries. But I want Film Companion to not be Bollywood Companion. Okay. I always wanted to be about all Indian film industries. And so we also had a reviewer on Marathi. We had one reviewer out of Punjab for the Punjabi film industry. We had one reviewer based in Kolkata who talked about Bengali cinema. So for me, it was always very important that we should be a voice for Indian cinema and not just for Hindi cinema. And I think that was just a very it turned out to be great timing, because literally Film Companion launched in 2014 and 2015 was Bahubali, the first one, and the whole thing changed and it became pan-India. And obviously streaming is also now 10 years old. So streaming came in 2016 and Netflix came in 2016. And I think streaming really changed the game, because all of us started watching all kinds of films, and we weren't only watching the film of the language we speak, you know. So I think that really helped to make us far more conscious and more aware. And also the success of the Bahubali films helped the industries to start noticing and talking about each other, and of course working with each other.
Appreciate each other also.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, everybody in Mumbai is crazy about Fahad Fasil.
We know. And we're proud on that. And in the interview with Dulquer, you
Yeah.
were asking, say Dulquer, how you could manage all the audience, like you go Telugu, you go Kannada, you do multiple films there, still you are the star in Malayalam. So that kind of, even the actors, they are pushed their boundaries.
Yes.
It's not just about the fan base, or maybe I could say the followers that they have to extend the value being an artist. So
Yeah.
how do you look on that? Like these young stars of Malayalam, and of course Loka Kalyani Basil, you must have to tell us how happy you were, how the interaction was all about.
Oh, it was fabulous. Look, I think it's amazing, because I think each industry can only grow by learning from each other. So for Hindi cinema, which is what I have covered for most of my life, I think what we can learn from Malayalam cinema is the writing, is the ability to tell incredible stories in tiny budgets. I mean, to imagine that Loka was made in 30 crores is for Hindi cinema unimaginable. You know, unimaginable. So I think that the fact that, and Dulquer was doing this years ago. You know, he's been working across industries for many, many years now. I think that just helps to Prithviraj, Dulquer, you know, all these people have done that kind of whatever, the juggling and the hopping across borders. Experimenting. And it's brilliant, because I know that, I think it was it Rajkumar Rao or somebody who said that we all want to learn Malayalam so that we can come and work here, right? I think it's wonderful. And the fact that Loka made such waves outside of Kerala as well is such a wonderful thing, right? Because we learn from that look, you can take a punt, you can make a female superhero movie and have it do amazing box office. And that doesn't happen in Mumbai. That's not happening. No one's making a female superhero movie, you know. So I think these are the kind of learnings we have from each other, and it's inspiring, frankly. It's really inspiring when they see that. Maybe it encourages you to take a shot.
I understand. So ma'am, as I've always heard you talking about that, whatever you do, please make focus that films and or any other creative art should have the focus on the story. The bone should be the story, not the stars or the big names. So as you rightly said, here we have stories. We have Mamuka, Lalitan doing multiple films, like their out and out performance in many other characters. At the same time, we have the youngsters going abroad and doing many things. But when coming to Bollywood, now after a small period of downfall, I could say, downfall, now the Bollywood movies are getting blockbusters because of the wonderful making process and that wow factor in the theatre. So what would you say Bollywood have changed from the era of superstars or the flashy glamour world to a downfall, and then now they are coming back to the era on the strength of the making?
You know, definitely. Look, I mean, downfall might be too harsh a word, but I think that definitely there was a stagnancy and a complacency that came into Hindi cinema. And especially when you look at other film industries, you started to see how it just doesn't compare, you know. And I think but is it becoming less star obsessed? Not at all. Not at all. It is still absolutely star led. And stars call all the shots. It's still not enough about the story, which is a shame, but I hope we get there. But definitely the making, the technology, the craft has really evolved.
Okay, now coming to, we always talk about stars, knowingly or unknowingly, every male actors come for the first line of discussion. But I want to ask you about the wonderful women like Deepika or maybe anyone in Bollywood who now have that choice to make that, see, I'm paid more than the actor, so I can have my own space. Okay, so right from beginning, you have been so long of years, you're watching the evolution of the women in cinema.
Yeah.
How would you say that? How are these girls?
It's always with women in cinema. Look, we've come a long way and so much has changed. Like when I started in the early 90s, there were no women on sets. There would just be the heroine and the hairdresser and the heroine's mom, and that was it, So that is massively changed, and Hindi cinema actually is way ahead of all other industries when it comes to gender inclusivity. We have way more women working as HODs, we have way more women working even in crafts which were technically quote unquote considered cinematography. That's a big one, so there's a lot of women who are in positions of power, the streaming, especially the streaming platforms. There's so many women who are at very, very high positions who greenlight projects. So it's amazing. All of that has been incredible. I think women like, post, I think 2000 especially, women really came into their own in terms of also being more vocal about what they want, about gender parity, about the roles they want to do. But right now, I feel post-pandemic, Indian cinema is in a peak hyper-masculine era. It's all about larger-than-life heroes. It's all about violence and action.
Yeah.
And what happens in that environment is women get marginalized. Also, the market conditions are such that everybody believes, Loka proved it's not true, but everybody believes that stories led by women will do better on streaming.
Understood.
So they don't release them in theaters, which naturally means that there will be probably not very big budget. There'll be more intimate stories. The scale comes down when it's not a theatrical film, right? So I think those factors in this current moment are probably not so happy for women.
Alarming.
They are alarming. I'm concerned. When your biggest films are all about larger than life men, then what role do women have? Apart from the love interest or one item song.
Yeah.
And that's tough. That's tough.
That's true. As you said, violence, talking about violence, when Bollywood have one Animal, Kerala have one Marco.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not that we didn't have anything violent or more on a dangerous side
Before.
Of
Of
but
course.
we had. But now it's like so normalized. Like young generation people, I don't know whether filmmakers are thinking like, okay, this can attract young generation or maybe the Gen Z because they are so used to it on the reels. So what do you think? Why violence is being like a normalized for the creators? How would they think?
I think the threshold has just gone up so much. And listen, let's be honest, we cannot be prescriptive. We cannot say, no, you cannot have violence. Violence has been, like you said, part of the movies from time immemorial. There is no, so it's not that this is a new thing. I think what's new is...
And it's more in the society as well.
Yes, movies are a reflection of society. So we cannot imagine that cinema should be wholesome and beautiful and loving when your society is not. So I think, but what's changed is the degree of the gore. The amount of blood and bodies, and I think what's important is that violence needs to have a context. It needs to. Also, I think I wish more filmmakers would show us the cost of violence, because violence is not in a vacuum. Violence is not always cool and sexy, and the man walks away in slow motion with an explosion behind. That's what we're seeing.
Correct.
That's all we're seeing. Right, that somehow it's sexy, somehow killing lots of people is cool. I wish some filmmakers would show what it does to a person to kill another person, But I think that it's just the threshold has increased massively, and so everybody's like, this guy showed this, how do I go past this? So maybe now Marco's the benchmark. How do you get more violent than Marco? I hope nobody does.
I hope.
That was a tough one.
Yeah, I also wish nobody goes beyond that. Let's have a cut down. So, ma'am, in the round table with Pearly Mani and all, I have watched this, and what I absolutely loved was Anupama Chopra at the age of 58 is on par with Pearly, and at the same, when you have a superstar or maybe there's other stars in conversation, you are gelling with it. How is that possible? How are you adapting so beautifully with? I know technological wise, the updations, I'm totally talking about the professional manners. Like you do the same, or maybe the same platform you use in a different way than Pearly or many other young content creators do. So what is?
So I can only do what comes naturally to me, right? I can't be. Pearly does what she does in a beautiful way, and that's what comes naturally to her. You know, she was talking in that video about how so much of her life is online. You know, that she puts out a lot, and her and her husband are very comfortable with it, right? That's not how I grew up. We grew up, you know, in a very different environment where there was one Doordarshan channel, there was no social media, of course. So I think I can only be authentic to who I am. And that's what I continue to do. I'm genuinely curious. I want to learn. I'm a constant student. So when I'm sitting with Pearly and Suma, Vishal and Bharadwaj, I know because we've all worked together, right? So, but I don't know Pearly, I don't know Suma so well. I want to learn from both of them because they're both so good at what they do. So I'm constantly trying to adapt to what the current environment is, but can I change and try and be cool and young? No, I can't. I'm who I am.
But talking about the film reviews, when you started, you were like having that very plain screen, I would say. Like you have to be as raw as you can. But now there are film production houses or maybe the film producer, I would say. They would ask any reviewer or maybe a content creator, famous content creator, to give a positive review. That is also another part of the. So how it would affect the actual reviewing? I'm telling there are still now people who watch your film, your review, and have a judgment. Okay, before going to the movie. So how is that affecting? Because the marketing strategy is on the other level that they can be biased. So how credibility affects the film reviewing as a profession?
No, it's a tough time. It's a tough time. Of course, there is all of this where, though truthfully, no producers ever called me and said, give a positive review. Never, not once. But that does happen. I know it happens. So that is tough because, but I just think that if you can't be honest in a review, you shouldn't do it. Like for me, I can never review my husband's films, or I can't review films he produces. I did not review Donkey, even though that was not a film he produced, but because Raju and Abhijat have worked so closely for so many years with Vinod, I felt like I won't be able to be honest to it because they're too much, they're too close. So I feel like if you cannot be honest, don't do it. For me, that's the mantra. If I can say how I feel, I will give a review. If circumstances, because now it's not just producers, it's also the fabric of social media, it's also people trolling you. And if you feel that all of that is getting to you and you maybe can't give a honest review, then I think you should just not do it.
Try another way.
Or listen, no doctor has said you need to review films, right? It's not some essential for mankind situation. So don't do it.
And the very interesting comment is like, I don't read any more comments to get the negativity.
You can't. I used to because I thought I would learn and again get better. And I'm sure there are still comments that would help me be a better critic. But to get there, you have to go through so much of negativity. I think it's just too easy for people to be negative. And I think people are so frustrated in their own lives that it's very easy to just be nasty to somebody else, especially because it's anonymous. You don't have to say it to my face. You don't have to give your name. You can just make a handle and say whatever you want. Why should I let that affect my energy or my love for what I do?
Understood.
To me, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, understood. I would again go for your age. At this age, I want to know how many hours or maybe what's the time span that you would give for your social media platforms other than the works that you do? Like FC videos, you have to definitely watch the editorial. Hollywood Reporter, yeah. But I'm telling on the leisure side, how many time would you spend
on social media?
Yeah.
Not a lot at all. My Instagram limit is 15 minutes. So that's it. And it's so funny. So my daughter's boyfriend has put a code into my Instagram, which only he knows. And they're both in America.
Okay.
So even if I want more, I can't do it because he's locked the phone. So he works with Apple, and I just feel like that's the only way, because I need to be watching stuff. And my fear, as much as I enjoy it, I love it. I'm not saying that I'm so evolved that I don't love looking at people's lives and beautiful projects and beautiful products. But the truth is, you can spend so much time, and I'm really worried about brain rot. You know, when you get to where I am, you're just wondering, like, okay, maybe if God is kind, you've got another 25, 30 good years. Like, protect everything. Right? So you got to protect your head, man. You've got to keep it safe. And I just think that scrolling finally is going to be very damaging.
Yeah. Once you start scrolling, you
It's
forget
so
the world.
It's so addictive, and it's designed to be addictive.
Correct.
You know, so what are you going to do? Get a lock.
That's a wonderful idea. A lot of youngsters may be like, oh my God, is this coming for us also? But thank you so much, ma'am. Last question. How are you like being so young, I would say, from heart, from your looks and everything? What is it health, fitness, or the good conversation and mental peace that you have? What makes you so?
It's everything. It is. Look, truly, I consider myself extremely blessed. I have a family I'm very, very close to, and that's really your foundation. I think that's what gives you the strength to conquer and be ambitious and dare greatly and all of those things. So, I'm very blessed to have that and to have a job I love. So I'm always excited, and I'm always curious, and I'm always eager to learn and do the next interview and find the next artist and watch the next movie. I want to see the Roshan Matthew film that released on Friday. I don't know how to say it. How do you say it?
Chatta Pacha.
Chatta Pacha.
Yeah.
Okay, Chatta Pacha. I really am dying to see Chatta Pacha.
Yeah.
So there's no end to what's out there.
Yeah. I think in 1 year, you would probably learn more Malayalam words, because you have this people all around from Kerala coming for your shows, and now, like, probably they'll teach you more words.
Listen, all I know right now is Mansalaya.
Mansilayo.
Mansalayo. I don't even know how to say that well. So that's all I know. One word.
I can help you with one word, which you say superb as Adipole.
Adipole.
Yeah.
Adipole. Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I like that. Adipole. Okay. Well, listen, most of Malayalam cinema is Adipole.
That's superb. That's a wonderful statement to end. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. It was a pleasure to having you here.
Thank you so much.